Hello, 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 Virgos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this big world, and whenever you're watching this. Welcome, welcome. My name is Patty. I'm here to do your intuitive tarot for the week of what is it, the 24th through the 30th. We're at the end of May, guys. This is also going to include some astrology and numerology. I believe in looking at all the energies that bring everything together pretty much. However, this is divine inspired and divine driven, so you will hear me talk about the divine a lot, being that second dimension or second who's ever on the other side, put it that way, may come through and want to share information and messages. So the first card that I'm going to pull from these oracles is for the divine, his answers or his question. If you have questions for him, that is going to be probably your answer. Or if you're struggling through something, this might be helping you get some clarity on some things. So first card is divine, second card is current energy, third card is the future energies, probably for June and July, because with the astrology part, it's showing that a lot of these changes are going to take time and progress. So the future card is for probably the next couple of months. So really pay close attention to those. And that's more the astrology part. However, there's a lot of planet action going on right now because we are going into a full moon this week. And we also are having three retrogrades, and we also have solar or lunar eclipse. So lots of energies out there. So about the 23rd to the 3rd of June, there's going to be a lot of anxiety, hyper energies, and things like that. It's going to be sort of like almost over the top energies. So really, really pay attention to those energies. And we'll talk about those more as we go, because they are going to affect your week. This is going to be a really challenging week for all signs, and the first couple of days of June, because it is a lot about inner work, inner tensions, judgment, the way that we look at things, the way that we feel things and stuff like that. So really pay attention to yourself and try to hold your tongue and things like that. Just pick your battles wisely, put it that way, in this next week. And I'll go into those more on the 26th when I do the full moon reading. And there will be a lot of information there because of the retrogrades, because of the lunar eclipse, because of June coming up. And so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be able to know when that is on. All right. So the first card oracle out we have is the cat. Now remember, this is the divine's card. This is his message to you, or if you're struggling, or if you're asking questions, or if you're not quite sure of something. Hopefully this will bring you some more clarity. The cat's about independence and healthy boundaries. So when the divine brings that, he's trying to educate us on how to bring ourselves to have more healthy boundaries and try to eliminate or not be so distracted with energies that are trying to throw us off our track. This is the number 9. So this is his saying, time to wake up, children. Time to wake up. I really need you to pay attention and get really healthy minded and get rid of the distractions that are not giving you the purpose that you need. So pay attention to those. And also, too, check. We'll do wealth, health, and love and relationships at the end. And this is about checking in on if your energies are really being healthy towards your body and mind, because your body only reacts to what we think and what our spirit is. So that is just really, really huge. Pay attention to those. If you need to quit smoking, quit smoking. You need to quit drinking, quit drinking. If you need to quit drugging, quit drugging. If you know what I mean? Get some good exercise, nutrition, and things like that, and even healthy friends. All right, so our current energy, I knew this was going to probably pop up. It's popped up in a couple other signs already because this is, like I said, it's going to be challenging week all the way into probably the 2nd of June. And the current energies is the wasp. It is anger, retaliation, and jealousy, the number 3. So this is acknowledging why we're angry, why we're jealous, why we want to really get back at somebody, and really noticing that the divine is saying, that's not a healthy boundary. That is not healthy and mindful for you, your mindset, your spirit, and your body. So this week is about paying attention to everything you're doing and thinking, because it's going to be challenging with everything going out there in space. It's going to be challenging. And it definitely, the future energy, remember I said in the very beginning, this is probably going to be for June and July, because there's a process here. And even the planets are saying this is going to take a little bit of time, and it may take a couple months. And I said this back in the late April. I said something's coming up. I couldn't quite figure it out, but it's going to happen for 2-3 months. And then the astrologers confirmed it. So I was like, okay, I'm still right on track. Divine's still giving me my gifts. But this is fear. Okay. And that again is the number 3. So it says 48, however, 48 turns into the number 3. And this is something that we really, really acknowledge. What is it? This would be a really good thing to put down on paper. You have to sit there and get in yourself. This is going to be a Saturn thing, getting into yourself with the Saturn retrograde, and really thinking about that, and also thinking about, what am I fearful for myself? What am I fearful to do? What am I fearful, whatever the outcome is. There's some really good books on fear. I did do a video on fear. I think it's called Facing Your Giants or Facing Fear. If you go to the Get Balanced 2020 and just type in fear, it'll pop up. Really good video, not tooting my own horn, but there's a lot of people that talk about fear. I have faced so many fears. And let me tell you, it's scarier in our mind than when we actually face it. Because we sit there, even my daughter, I say, nope, you got to face your fear. You got to face your fear. And she'll say, wow, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought. No, because our minds go way over the top. Way over the top. And that's where anger and jealousy gets in, especially for somebody who thinks that somebody's cheating, somebody's going out and doing what they're not supposed to be doing because you have trust issues. Doesn't mean that that person is actually doing what you're thinking they're doing. All right. So let's see what the cards have to say. I got my table dirty. Anyway, let's see what we have to say. Hopefully everybody is doing healthy, wealthy, and fine out there. Now, as I go and shuffle, just know that there are dailies now, guys. There's dailies, little 1-minute dailies for you. Just the inspiration in the morning. They are posted so early, so hopefully that if you're even in another country, you get them right when you get up and you get sort of a word of inspiration, which you should be doing every morning. Not me, but getting a word of inspiration, basically, and have that in your mind before you even go out the door. Okay. Ooh. Virgo, somebody has really a fear of a relationship. Just a real uncertainty. A very uncertainty. So we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Lovers and the Hermit. Welcome, welcome. So we have the page. There's a message coming in, and this has to do with a relationship. Now here the thing is that we've got the Hermit, which is Virgo. He's looking over, because maybe this is what Divine is talking about for this person, is because please make sure that there are healthy boundaries within this relationship. And healthy boundaries come from communication and talking about, again, your fears, your anxieties, whatever they are. These cards go hand in hand, guys. This is really a time to talk about your fears, what really sort of upsets you, not how they upset you, what upsets you personally. So the way in communication, a lot of people say, well, when you do this, it really bothers me. No, that's the wrong way to communicate. That is the thing about communication here that's going on, because when we are upset about something, we say, I feel. You have to bring it inwards. This is Saturn energy. Saturn retrograde coming in. That's going to be a future thing. If you watch my effective communication video, you'll understand this a little bit better. However, just to recap it, is when we start talking about ourselves first, we take the blame off of somebody else, which is 100% wrong to do, because nobody can make us feel any way other than the way that we allow ourselves. So if they say, well, example, if you're in a relationship, one of the big things is if somebody leaves the toilet seat up. Okay, now in America, we still have the toilet seats up. Some countries have bidets and things like that. However, if somebody leaves the toilet seat up and I go sit down and I fall in the toilet, yeah, I get really upset. However, that's my issue, because I could have looked and put the seat down. You have to look at from your perspective of what you could do, rather than, and what bothers me and what triggers me and those kind of things. So instead of saying, well, if you don't put this toilet seat down, I'm going to fall in. So I'm blaming you because you need to be put. Why is it the guys? Yes, he has to put it up because he doesn't want to dribble on the seat. However, when we sit there and we have to look at that, we say, you know what, honey? I would really like it if you could remember to put the toilet seat down, because I fell in and it's really uncomfortable. How does that sound? Much better than blaming, you really need to put the toilet seat down. You know what? I fell in, it's cold. And blah, 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 blah. The way we communicate in this relationship is what Divine is talking about: healthy boundaries. Taking the blame off of somebody else, taking responsibility for us and our own feelings. Now, he could make the choice of still keeping the toilet seat down or up or whatever. That's his choice. But it is your issue that you need the toilet seat down. Well, all women do. However, I can put that toilet seat down just as much as he can put it up. It's nasty either way, but we both have choices. These are healthy choices. These are healthy boundaries. Again, as I said in the very beginning, pick your battles wisely this week. This is going to be a challenging week with the full moon, the super moon, the 3 retrogrades, with the lunar eclipse, because you've got so many different energies going on here. So for this lovers couple, really being mindful, paying attention, helping each other in the relationship is going to bring a lot more unity. It is going to bring a lot more oneness. Well, yeah, it is going to be challenging. Huh? It really is, because these energies are all about judgment. This is all about inner work, inner self. This is really going to, and I hope you watch the full moon reading, because I'll go into deeper there. But this is a big learning lesson this week. You're either going to get really close to somebody or you're going to be pushing them away. And that got to be careful, because if you get angry, you've got to own that anger. Where is that coming from? Where is that foundation? Where is that core coming from? You have, how many of you, I do this all the time. In fact, I do it more now that I've walked in more of a spiritual lifestyle, is that when we get angry, I sit there and I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? I don't talk to them and I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? I mean, it can happen in an instant. Where is this coming from? Why is this? Why am I angry about this? Where is this trigger? What did this trigger from? And I can sometimes see that all the way back to my childhood. I have to zip it, because now that's my issue. I got to heal, but I do have to let them know I'm getting angry and it's a trigger. So can we either diffuse the conversation so that I can figure things out, or move on to something else? This is all about communication, and I'm not going to go into life coaching right now, but this is a healthy boundary to recognize, okay, I'm getting angry. Why am I getting angry? What am I doing? What is he doing? She doing? Whatever. What is the dog doing? What is the cat doing? Those are all surface things. But the thing is, what is causing that? What is the trigger? Where did it come from? Yeah. Oh, good. Balancing your chakras is really, really, really important. This is good. Good intuition. Really pay attention and make sure that it's intuition from the right source, from divine, and not a distraction from the low vibrations or another place. Please make sure, get confirmation from divine. Yes, definitely. Um, yeah, you don't really find peace. You ask divine for peace, because in the world, if you live the world first dimension, that is where people think I need to find peace. No, the divine gives you that peace. The divine actually, the divine stops cravings. This divine stops addictions, but we have to ask them for that. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So this week is going to be a really big learning lesson for somebody, not only to change their thinking and ask themselves, this is Saturn and Pluto and Mercury all just together. And the thing is, this is going to be a huge, huge lesson. This is a huge, not only teaching lesson, but also learning lesson for somebody. And the thing is that it's going to help you in how you articulate yourself. Now, who's going to walk through the fear to challenge, to take that challenge? This is a challenge, and some people will take it or not because they don't want to face their fears. Like I had said in the beginning, this is a process. This is going to be for June and July, and it probably will keep going on for some, because some people want to really heal themselves and get better. But this fear is a challenge, because if you face fear, then you have to sometimes go way deep and bring that up. And you know what? Sometimes we need to do that for our spirit and our soul. I started doing that last week, and I have felt my soul in a way I have never in all the years that I've been on this earth. I was like a wow moment, a aha moment. And I apologize to my spirit and my soul because I never recognized them in that way. And if you can feel, not your head, this is really hard, is to take your head off your plate and put it on a plate for a minute and really think from your spirit, where there's no bias, where it's just divine, where it is your raw spirit in who you really are. It is a really weird and amazing feeling. However, at a different level. I think he's bringing me to a very different level, and hopefully it's a good level. But I know I'm going to have to face a lot of stuff from my childhood, which is fine, because I have no problem doing that anymore. I have no fear of doing that anymore. So, oh, good, 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 good. I'm glad you're peaceful. Yay, 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 yay. And bring that joy with that peace, calm and peace and joy. It all comes together. So whoever this is here, it is going to be a real challenge. Now, there's somebody in a relationship that's, oh, you guys, all you're doing is fighting. Apparently somebody's lost trust in somebody. There's a lot of fighting. You think you'll never get it back. If this is a habitual thing that you're continuing to do, and there's more fighting and more sadness and more jealousy, more that than actually joy, you really need to think about that. Really think about that, but make sure you're going by facts and not by what's in your head. Because I'm sorry, ladies, but ladies are really good at this. Oh, they're upside down. Ladies are really good at this, of creating a story in their head that isn't even true. You have to get facts. Being in criminal justice, you got to look at the facts. You got to look at the evidence. I cannot base anything unless there is fact and evidence, because if there isn't any evidence, I have just a story. And you know what? There's always two sides to a story. That's why people don't understand when they watch the news why police do the things that they do, because there is a system and a structure that they have to do things by. Well, like when my brother was murdered, they knew where the guy was or who he was. I'm like, go get him. And I said, we can't. We don't have enough evidence. If we pull him in and we don't have enough evidence, then we can't try him if we got the evidence, because we've already accused him and already tried to try him without evidence. We lose, the killer goes free. But if we wait and get the evidence, which they did, but then they couldn't find the guy, then they can bring him in and say, hey, you know, but you got to look at things differently. This is healthy. If you look at the evidence, you look at what's true, not the illusions, not the fantasies. Now, it's what's going on in this little head, because most of the time this is not true. And this is what creates your anger and jealousy. And retaliation's a big no-no. Big, big no-no. You just don't do that. Let the divine do it, because let me tell you, he's 10 times more powerful than you will ever be. And you're stressing out about it way too much. So if somebody's losing sleep, this is your work for yourself. This is your fear. So somebody has a fear of trust because maybe they were abandoned, or maybe somebody left them without telling them, just packed up and left. Maybe they could be some person that didn't understand why somebody left, and they're stressing about it, but you're carrying that with you year after year after year after year. And that's not healthy. This is not healthy. If somebody is gone and left, let them go. They're done in your life for that reason or that purpose. If it's meant to, and the divine is saying, okay, they've learned their lesson, they're coming back. Okay, they've grown and matured. If they haven't grown and matured, it's not wise to bring them back, because you're going to run that cycle over and over and over again. Oh, good, good, good. Good, good, good. This is good. So whoever is really stressing and losing sleep over this is your fear that is actually beginning to conquer you. If you cannot sleep at night for anything, if you cannot function daily, if you cannot keep your mind on track and focused, this is beginning to conquer you. Fear is going to begin to conquer you, and you're going to allow it to do so. Then it has a bondage on you. I'm surprised we won't see the devil. Huh. I'm surprised. There's bondage here, definitely. There is definitely bondage here. Yes. You have to be looking at your higher self. You have to be. Look at this. We got the world, and then we've got truth versus absolute truth. We've got the absolute truth is the high priestess, and then we have earthly truth, which is justice. I am definitely going to go for the high priestess, but somebody is not understanding where they are, even their thought process is from. Okay, so somebody's really thinking world in their thought process, first dimension, thinking about every circumstance affects you, your emotions, your feelings. It's like, woe is me, up and down, roller coaster, roller coaster. This is the way things happen because you're allowing the circumstances in the first dimension, things that you can see, touch, feel, person, affect you, and then you end up on this roller coaster ride. Whereas if you were in spirit, like you are talking about here, health storm, that you become more peaceful, more calm, more like, okay, maybe this lesson is over. Maybe I learned enough from this lesson and they're moved on. Oh man, it really sucks. I really like that person. I would really love to have a relationship with them. But you know what? Divine could be protecting you for something, or that lesson is done and over with. However, look at this. You're fighting the whole way of thinking. Again, get your head off, boom, and think from your heart. Think from your intuition. Think from the second dimension. Think from your heart, your intuition, your spirit, your soul. Because if you were to do that, you wouldn't have this much anger and retaliation. You would actually be reversing that. You could be reversing that, because when you become angry and stuff, that's more of a self-centered kind of energy, because it's for self, where anger comes for self. So if you were to say, you know what? Oh, okay. Say you thought you were going to start I'm sort of in that situation right now. I've met somebody. I really liked him. I thought this would be a really good connection, thought we were connecting. I mean, we talked almost all day for 2 months, every day. And so it was like, okay, great. So good connection. Then all of a sudden they start dropping away, and it's like, okay, out of the blue. So it's like, okay, so I thought we were headed for better, maybe more. But you cannot control another person. So if they're not interested, you can't go and beg, and you can't go follow them, and you can't go, oh, why? What's wrong with me? Why? No, you can't do that. Just say, okay, God, divine, I'm not sure what's going on here, because we don't see that second dimension. So, and we don't want to keep fighting with ourselves. So what we want to do is just say, divine, I don't get it, but I don't see what you see. Maybe there is fear on the other person's part. So maybe the fear is whatever it is, and I don't know that. However, maybe I'm not their cup of tea, but the lesson was learned. There was something one of us had to take away from that lesson and meeting, because nobody comes into your life for no reason at all. They're there for a reason, for you or for them, one of the two. But I can take it, and I can say, okay, I'm going to leave it in your hands. If they come back around, it's great. I'll keep moving on. Yes, it frickin' sucks, but I'm going to keep moving on, and we're going to be okay because you know better. Or I can sit there and go, wow, why doesn't he like me? Why? Oh, what did I do? And I'm going to text him, and text and text and text until you push him away even further. That's world. Healthy boundaries, spirit, calmness, peace, joy. Okay? So that is where that is. So pay attention to that this week, guys. It's going to be a really challenging week. Definitely a really challenging week. Okay, so we're going to look at wealth, health, and love. Okay, you got something going on here with a relationship, but maybe this will clarify it also. Let's see. But there is a lot of fear here. And fear is actually, do you know that there's two ways that we live our life? We live our life either in love, in making choices and decisions. We make choices and decisions based out of either love. Are you kidding me? Wow. This Four of Cups has come up. I do not know how many times. Wow. Almost in every other reading. It's crazy. But do you know that we make choices and decisions based on either love or fear? Majority of people will make most of their decisions based out of fear, because they're not living in a second dimensional. You're not living in the divine, your spiritual side. You're living in your worldly side. Thank you for that. I like that. Thank you. Somebody up there said spiritual side. Say spiritual side. I'm like, okay. Living in your spiritual side rather than your worldly side. What I mean by that is definitely there's a disconnect in what is unseen and what is actually for your growth, lessons, opportunities, purpose, calling, and all that kind of stuff. All right. So the reason why this is sort of weird is I have the Four of Cups for our wealth. Now, wealth, again, can be monetary. It could be something that is not monetarily. It could be second dimensional. It could be wealth is up to you. What is it that's your success? What is your accomplishments? What is your number one priority in life? Loving my family. That's my wealth. Making sure my family's happy, making sure that everybody is, succeeding at what they want to do, what they love, and who they are, that kind of a thing. And another person's wealth might be, it's all about money to me. So this is your wealth, but it is the Four of Cups in reverse, which means, you're not really thinking about too much about your wealth. And actually, this might be a good time to sort of do that. Even if you're in your 20s, even making a bucket list, they call it a bucket list for seniors, but in all reality, it's just goals. What would you like to do in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? And these are goals. This is how I have accomplished every single thing in my human life that I have wanted to do, but one. And that is out of my control. And I'm waiting for divine intervention in that, because I can't control that. I can just say what I want and desire. However, it is up to the divine to create that opportunity or help me create that opportunity that it happens. So sometimes the second dimension is a little bit harder because we have to be more patient. So what is your wealth? What is your first year, 5-year, 10-year goals? And this is what's going to create actually your mindset of either being world or second dimension. And here's the way that you can be, you just like, well, I don't know which world I'm living in. Sorry, if I'm turning bright red, I'm having a hot flash. The thing is that you can tell if you write down your priorities or your bucket list or your goals or whatever, and then you go back over them, you can see what kind of mind process you're living in. So if you say, oh, my wealth is, I want to own a house, I want a new car, I want to meet a nice guy, I want to travel, I want to do, these are things of more worldly. These are things that you can acquire. Whereas if you were to say, you know what, I just want to help people, I want to volunteer, I just want to become more loving, I want to become more compassionate to others. Those are second dimensional. So those are things those are values of the second dimension. So spiritual versus world. Spiritual wins for me. Let me tell you, I've lived both, and world is a roller coaster I do not want to go back on. Okay. That just definitely isn't it. Oh, lovely. So we're going to go to the body. We're going to go to the health, your health. The health is the Empress. So for some females or feminines out there, this could mean pregnancy. This could mean that you are trying to get pregnant or some fertility. There's somebody out there having a hard time with fertility. Please keep taking care of your body, nutrition, and exercise. But the most thing about fertility is releasing stress. I know several ladies who couldn't get pregnant, and then when they just released the stress and said, screw it, you know what, we're just going to adopt because I can't get pregnant, and boom, they got pregnant because they were so stressed out, their body's so stressed out that it just didn't want to get pregnant. However, this is not everybody is a feminine who's going to get pregnant. For men, if your partner is pregnant, this is for you to help her with her body needs. Her mindset is going to change. Her physical body is going to change. She needs affirmations that you love her, that it is something that you both desire and want because the child didn't ask to be here. You guys played around, laid on your backs, and now it's coming. So, either way, that child needs to be cared for and to know it is loved when it comes here. Huge, huge difference when a baby comes into the world and it's not wanted. I've watched this firsthand, and the child grew up. I won't go into it. It's sad. It's a sad story, rather than somebody comes in and loved. Anyway, so that's for that. But it also too is to make sure the Empress is about nurturing yourself. Somebody needs to be nurturing themselves, giving them a spa day. And if you can't afford a spa day, sit out in the backyard with your headphones or quiet, just some meditation, just sit there quietly. I go out in my backyard and I get my camping chair out there and I take a mental break. I just sit back and I lean back and I look at the trees, I look at the skies, I look at the clouds moving. This is a mental health thing. And you just quietly listen to the birds. You take notice and awareness. Before you know it, you're going to start actually releasing some of that anger. And you're growing a healthy boundary, this is healthy for you, and things like that. All right. So, 7 of remember I was talking about this lovers thing going on here. So, this isn't really clarification. So we've got lovers and relationships, 7 of Swords. We don't like this card very much because the 7 of Swords is a lot about betrayal. Now, is this betrayal again? Thank you. I appreciate that. They're saying, remember, is this betrayal in your mind or is it in absolute truth? Because if it is in your mind an illusion and you don't have any facts and you don't have any evidence to prove that somebody has either betrayed you, cheated on you, stabbed you in the back, talked bad about you, this is just a fear coming out and you're going to ruin the relationship. And the other thing is, if there was some cheating or lying or whatever, if it's once, um, ask him or her why. Why did this happen? Why did you do that? This fear of not being able to communicate is going to create more problems. You've got to be able to communicate. The other thing too is, if you don't pay attention and listen, you cannot bring this unity together. So you got to make sure that fear is not stopping you from speaking to your partner or whoever this is that is coming to you, because this is a relationship, whether it's new, whether it's coming, or whatever it is. This jealousy thing has to go away, because that's just insecurities. That is insecurities. That becomes accusing somebody of doing something that they aren't doing in reality, but this is in an imagination or fantasy in your mind. This is becoming the retrogrades, guys. This is the retrogrades. This is a process that you're going to have to go through. I would say when I talk about coaching, I would say that probably 1 out of 3, I coach more ladies, that 1 out of 3 women is in reality and has facts and evidence of what's going on. They just either are in denial to split it off or communicate or talk to them. But the other 2 women, it's an illusion in their brain, because there's no evidence, there's no proof. It's just that they're living something from their past, and they're carrying that past with them. All right. So you got to be really, really careful this week, because this week is going to be challenging, guys. Full moon, super moon, lunar eclipse, 3 retrogrades, and we'll all talk about that on the 26th. I don't know what time yet, so I did post a little short video upload this morning, but that'll be on the 26th. I am doing dailies again, little minute dailies for inspiration, to give you some boost of hope and joy or happiness in the day, some peace. Hopefully the divine gives you in the morning. And I hope you watch those. I'll try it for a couple of weeks and see how that goes. So hopefully, definitely, that will help other people start a day in a good way if they don't have somebody there to help inspire them. So we will see you on the 26th, or we will see you on your next reading, which will be the 31st, last day of the month. And that we will be in full-blown full moon energies, and the lunar eclipse will be gone, but we are still in the retrogrades. Let me tell you, these retrogrades are something else, especially these 3 together. So remember to pick your battles wisely this week. Try to stay calm. Try to get really deep inside yourself. If you start getting angry or you start getting jealous, you have to ask where that's coming from, why, what trigger, how can you stop it, how can I correct it, not point fingers, you did this, you made me. No, that's completely wrong. I feel like this because this is what I feel when you do this. You cannot control if they're going to change or not. You have to take control of your mindset and your spirit and your heart. So just be really, really mindful. A lot of fantasy going on. I see a lot of fantasy going on in the head. Especially, I really want to see these lovers come back together and work things out. Okay, I really want to see them come back together, because I think the Hermit in the middle is really trying to figure things out. How can we get this solution solved? And the divine is saying healthier boundaries, healthier communication. We need to be independent, but we need to come together as one in the middle. If you're not coming one in the middle as a couple, then you got a problem, because you have to be separate individuals, but you have to come together for, specific goals, things that you want, desire, together as a unity. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so you guys have a really, really good week. I hope to see you on the 26th on the full moon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. You'll know when I'm coming on for that. Or please don't forget to like and share. And if this didn't resonate with you, maybe this resonated with somebody, popped up in your head, share this with them. Maybe this would help them in some aspect or another. So I hope you had a really, really good time and learned something, and it resonated with you. And I will see you next week. Don't forget to walk in absolute truth and love. Take care.